But how you respond to a loss, it's kind of like adversity tolerance. You got to overcome a lot of things, and you got to admit what you need to improve. God gave you ability. He did not give you an attitude to make choices, and we got to make the right choices so that we can improve as a team. Arkansas could very easily be 4-1, and they're a very, very good team, very physical team. Probably run the ball as well as anybody we've played against for a long, long time. A lot of teams in the top 25 stubbed their toe last week, so it'll be interesting to see who can overcome and respond to the adversity, correct the things that they need to correct, improve, and try to come out and be successful. So the interesting thing to me is I've been talking about penalties all year long. And I would talk about penalties and turnovers after the Florida game. 9 penalties on offense, 3 turnovers that led to 21 points. And no one spoke a word of it. No one spoke a word of it. All you did is put in the paper how many yards we got. All right, then we do the same thing and lose a game, and now it's why we get so many penalties? How come we got so many penalties? Penalties are killing us. They were killing us before.
Coach, looking at Arkansas's offense on film, how much more necessity, how much more responsibility is there for guys like Darren Lake, Brandon Ivory, Josh Frazier against this team than there are some of the other teams you play?
Well, I think when you play against Arkansas, you got to have some physical people on the line of scrimmage, and you got to be able to control the line of scrimmage, because that's what they've done to most people is they dominate the line of scrimmage. It opens up their passing game. It keeps them in the right down and distance to be a good third down team. They can run the ball well, so they're effective in the red zone. But not just them, because a lot of their runs are perimeter runs and they're scheme runs that if you don't have great secondary support, first support, second support, guys keying right on the perimeter, everybody fitting the runs like they're supposed to. Their backs are really good. Got to do a great job of tackling, and so you really got to play great team defense. All right, when you play a team like this, run and pass. And you got to have the right eye control, because if you don't look at the right things, they're going to throw a play action pass, and you're not going to know how that guy got where he got, because he's been sitting there blocking the safety and cracking all day. Now you all of a sudden don't look at him right, and he's 20 yards behind you. So there's a lot of challenges when you play a team like this, especially when you don't play teams like this very often anymore. So it'll be a real challenge for our entire defense, especially our front.
What do you think the biggest difference in Cyrus Jones is from last season to this season, and how would you assess his play so far this year?
Well, Cyrus has been our most consistent corner, in my opinion. He's a lot more confident. He knows what to do. He's got a lot better discipline in terms of eye control. And because of the experience that he got playing last year, I think he's a lot more mature about how he approaches playing, because he understands what it takes to play well, how you prepare for a game, how you study the receivers, how you understand our game plan. I understand what patterns and blocking schemes they're going to run in certain formations. So all those things that we try to teach guys, they don't, first of all, have maybe sometimes the kind of appreciation for it or see the importance in it. But after they play some, they actually see where this could be very beneficial, and I think it's just called competitive maturity. And, Cyrus has really played well and been very consistent. He's a really good athlete. He's got good ball skills. He can tackle well. He's tough. And he's done a pretty good job of covering for the most part.
Just wonder what your thoughts on how Reggie Ragland has played this year. Seems he's bringing that physical element to the linebacker.
Well, he's certainly, Reggie has gotten better and better with every game. And I think it's another one of those guys that, didn't have a whole lot of experience before. So as you play and as you gain experience, you realize what it takes, to play well, how you got to prepare. what you got to look at, how you got to understand the game plan. You understand that every mental error you make has a consequence in the game, and you really focus on paying attention to detail, doing the little things right, and you become a lot better, more efficient player, and Reggie has certainly done that. I mean, he was the player of the week this past week and had the most production points.
Check on a few guys, Eddie Jackson, Jarek Williams, DeAndre White, some of the guys who were injured. What are their statuses going into this one?
They're fine. They were fine last game.
There's been a lot of talk about how big this Arkansas offensive line is. I wondered what stuck out to you in terms of their physicality on film, and does that change anything in terms of what you need your defensive front to do?
Well, I think that they can talk all about how big they are, but really they're pretty good. That's what concerns me more than how big. They're very well coached. They do a really good job of executing the plays that they run. And they really play smart. They get a hat on a hat. And they're big and strong physical people that can maul you if you don't play with good pad level and strike and get your hands inside so you can control the block and be able to get off the block like you need to. And I don't think that ever changes for us. That's what we're always striving for. I think when you play against a really good offensive line, though, it really is important, more important, because you can't get away with not doing it right.
Wondering what kind of patience you've seen from Ulti Tenpenny this year, being a scout team guy, and now how he's maybe responded now that he's maybe going to have a bigger role in the offense.
Well, we've been working Ulti up with the guys. We rotated all those guys up all year long, and he's played really well for us all year on special teams. Ulti has done whatever we've asked him to do this whole season, and done a good job of it. And he's working hard now to be able to make a contribution to the offense when he's needed. But here's where I differ from everybody else when it comes to the questions you ask me, because they're exactly what I think sometimes players think. If I'm going to play, I'm going to do something different than if I'm not going to play. That's not really what we need. We need every player on the team to go out every day and get better and improve and play their best, because our goal is that every player on our team be the best player they can be. So your attitude shouldn't be any different whether you're going to be the fourth back or the third back. Your approach should be the same, because you should be striving, if you're fourth, to be third, and if you're third, to be second, and if you're second, to be first. Does that make any sense to anybody besides me? All right, and that's probably one of the biggest problems that we have, is the guys that play, they really, really go out there and work hard and try to do everything they need to do. All right, and then a guy thinks he's not going to play, doesn't have the same mental energy, intensity, doesn't prepare the same way. Guy gets hurt, he's in there playing. So can he do his job like he should? You understand what I'm trying to say? And I know you all think I'm crazy, but that's just how I think it ought to be. That's how I think players should do it. And that's what I preach to them all the time.
Last one, Martin.
Well, this is about Bradley Bozeman and the other centers. Just how have you seen them respond this week in terms of film preparation and all that?
Because they got a chance to play, they're like different guys. They're like different people. I mean, it's completely different. I mean, they don't even look the same. I wouldn't even recognize them on the street. They completely changed. Like, what was it, the Hulk? Is that the guy that used to change? I mean, so they play, they look like the Hulk. When they don't play, they look like the guy that, sells newspapers or whatever. I don't know. So, I think I already answered that question. Golly.